I'll never forget the moment the captain's voice came over the intercom. We were somewhere in the middle of the Caribbean, sunny skies, calm waters, fruity drinks in hand, when everything kind of paused. He said there was a medical emergency on board and that we'd be changing course. At first, it sounded routine. I mean, people get seasick all the time, right? But then I saw the crew rushing with equipment, the onboard doctor heading to a cabin 2 doors down from mine. The mood shifted. Everyone got quiet. Nervous glances. Whispers. It wasn't seasickness. Turns out an older man, maybe late 60s, had collapsed. His wife was frantic. The ship wasn't equipped for the level of care he needed. And because we were so far from land, they had to call for an emergency helicopter evacuation. A helicopter in the middle of the ocean. It was surreal, watching it hover above the ship like something out of a movie. They winched him up on a stretcher while we all stood frozen on the deck. Nobody said a word. The whole thing shook me more than I expected, because that could have been anyone. Your dad, my uncle, me even. We always think these kinds of emergencies happen to someone else until they don't. I later found out from another passenger that the couple didn't have travel insurance. And the cost of that medevac alone? Apparently upwards of $30,000. Not to mention the hospital bills, flights home, missed cruise days. The list goes on. And the thing is, cruises are kind of risky like that. You're not just a drive away from help. You're on a floating city, sometimes days from the nearest port. If something goes wrong, even a twisted ankle, a bad allergic reaction, or in this case, a serious cardiac event, you're really at the mercy of how fast help can reach you. That was the moment I stopped messing around. From that trip on, I've always bought travel insurance, especially for cruises. I used to think it was just a waste of money, something companies sold you to make a quick buck. But man, the peace of mind it gives me now? It's non-negotiable. And not just for me, for my family too. Because if something happened and I wasn't covered, I'd never forgive myself for the financial mess I'd be leaving behind. Let me tell you about this one thing that actually made the whole process easier for me. It's a site called auras.insure. I found it after getting fed up with those giant comparison sites that make everything confusing with 1,000 options and a million fine print exclusions. Auras just made sense. It's super quick, no fluff, and actually helped me find a policy that covered exactly what I cared about. Medical emergencies at sea? Covered. Evacuation? Covered. Even lost luggage and trip delays, which happened to me once when my connecting flight to Miami got cancelled last minute. I'm not saying it's magic or anything, but it's kinda like that smart friend who just gets it and helps you figure out the stuff that usually gives you a headache. Now I just hop on there before every trip. Costs less than what I usually spend on snacks during the cruise. And gives me this weird but comforting feeling like I'm not being reckless anymore. Look, I get that not everyone thinks about this stuff. When you're planning a vacation, the last thing you want to think about is what could go wrong. But after seeing that man wheeled into a chopper, his wife crying beside him, and knowing they weren't prepared. Yeah, I think about it now. So, if you're going on a cruise, or honestly, any trip where help might be far away, just consider it. Find something that works for you. And if you don't know where to start, Auras is the easiest thing I've come across. I'll put the link in the description, or you can just Google it. Not sponsored or anything, just something I actually use. And it's helped me feel a little more human, a little less panicked, out there in the middle of nowhere. Takes a couple minutes,